The U.S. Congress has until the end of September to pass legislation keeping the federal government open. Failing to do that would trigger a partial government shutdown. Congress is supposed to allocate funding to 438 government agencies before October 1st, but lawmakers rarely meet this deadline and instead pass temporary spending bills to keep the government operating. If they let that funding lapse, government agencies must stop all work not deemed essential. It is not unusual for negotiations to run right up to the point where funding is due to expire. But those tensions have been amplified under President Donald Trump.
Is there going to be a government shutdown?
Could be, yeah, because the Democrats are crazed.
Republicans control both the House of Representatives and the Senate, but they will need at least 7 Democratic votes in the 100-seat Senate to pass spending legislation. This gives the minority party some leverage.
The most important kind of indicator of the economic and fiscal costs of a shutdown is the duration of a shutdown.
Rachel Snyderman is the managing director of economic policy at the Bipartisan Policy Center.
In previous shutdowns, we have seen disruptions to farm loans, rural development programs, some of those veteran assistance training and support programs, even rental assistance for low-income Americans has been impacted. We've seen the closure of national parks, which has impacted tourism across the country, and of course that has a large indirect effect on local economies.
According to the Congressional Research Service, there have been 14 shutdowns since 1981. The most recent one was also the longest, lasting 35 days, triggered during Donald Trump's first term.
But when we had the 35-day shutdown in December 2018 to January 2019, we saw $3 billion in lost economic growth that we could not recover.
Each government department has a contingency plan to determine which employees must keep working without pay.
This is your TSA officers, the FAA, who ensures that flight safety remains, safe and continues. Of course, our military servicemen and women. But it's important to note that when it comes to many of these positions, they're required to show up without getting paid.
We'll continue to talk to the Democrats, but I think you could very well end up with a closed country for a period of time.
The Republican-controlled House of Representatives narrowly passed a bill on September 19th to keep government agencies funded through November 21st. The Senate, where 60 votes were required to approve the measure, promptly defeated it. Democrats insist that any spending bill must also ensure that expanded health care subsidies do not expire at the end of the year. Minority Leader Chuck Schumer said on Sunday that the health care cuts threaten to close rural hospitals and dramatically hike insurance premiums. Republicans say they are open to extending those subsidies, but say the issue should be handled separately.